We have now a presentation. Two authors, Patrizio Bianchi, which is assessor to the Regione Emilia-Romagna, and Tiziana Paccagnella, that will give the talk. She is the director of the Hydro Weather Climate Service, ARPAE. Grazie.
Thank you. Questa per le slide?
Sì, il verde per andare avanti, sì. Sai già la prima.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'm talking also on behalf of Professor Bianchi, which cannot be here today. And I want to concentrate a little bit about the efforts that our region is doing now to create a big infrastructure to support a lot of research of activities, including problems related to climate change. At the beginning, actually, I put a couple of slides just to recall what has been already said by the previous speaker. It's here. Oh, perfect. By the previous speakers, yes, that in our region, by definition, water has been always an issue. This, of course, brought to the development of a strong culture with respect to all the problems related to water management. So a big culture also at academic level and also in the public institution that were in charge to manage the problems coming for the water in our region and more generally in the Po Valley. And so now, climate is changing. It's already clear. This is a statement which is taken from the IPCC report of 2013. And it's clear that, as the previous speaker said, that the temperature increasing, we will have problem with water. In some places, we will have few water in the future. Then sea level is increasing, and this is another big issue. And for example, for our region, too, the big number of activities we have on the coast, and this is mainly due to the fact that greenhouse gases concentration is increasing, and is already well evident that there are already clear effects, as it is shown in the picture due to the big retirement of some glacier, which is a clear signal that things are already happening. And so we have a big global challenge, and we have to organize ourselves due to this changing already ongoing. And this means that we have to be to face the problem in several aspects. We need to increase our capability to observe. That means monitoring of the Earth as a planet and also locally. We have to develop scientific research. We have to increase our modeling capability, and I will come back in a few minutes about that. And we have to advance our technology. So, and all these things are really necessary to be able to mitigate and also to adapt to the incoming climate change. This is a big issue because this is a scheme of the climatic system. Actually, this is my job in the sense that I always been working on atmosphere and modeling, forecasting, and also climate in the modeling aspect. And as you can see from this picture, the climatic system is quite complicated because there are a lot of energetic exchanges. And if you just change one of this element, you can have a lot of feedbacks that make the overall changes difficult to predict. And this has been really an issue for several decades. And only since 20 years, there is a clear consensus about what the changes will be in this changing climate. What do we use to try to understand what the climate will be? We use numerical models. And it's important to understand that models are quite complicated simulator in which using the law of the physics, which is mainly dynamics and thermodynamics in the Earth atmosphere system, we need to use the big computers to try to simulate the evolution of the atmosphere when we change the forcing. And in this case, what we do in climate scenarios simulation is to change the concentration of CO2 mainly. This is a global scale, but now what we do is to try to understand to try to put some details in these future scenarios we are simulating with the global models. But of course, in doing this refinement of the information, which is really important because we need to understand the impacts at local scale. We need to understand how many meters of beaches we will lose on the Adriatic coast and the impact on all the economical activities on the coast. So we have really to go at a local scale. And this, since we need more and more sophisticated models, of course, is really a huge challenge to face in the future. So now there is a general agreement about the fact that we need really a jump in our capability to solve this problem with respect to technology and respect to high-performance computing and with respect to the capacity to store data. So this is a picture I got from Peter Bauer, which is working at the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasting in Reading, which is the biggest center in the world with respect to meteorological modeling. And from this picture, it's clear that we are really touching the limit of our computer resources. And if you want to be able to go on and to improve our ability to simulate climate changes, we have really to have a breakthrough in our technological capacity. And so there are big initiatives also as flagships of the European Union with respect to this. And these are called, for example, scalability problems, which is trying to concentrate the efforts to try to develop new computer capabilities. And not only because changing the technology of the computers also bring the necessity to change the way in which the models are written. So that means a big improvement also in the capability to develop more sophisticated coding system and so on. So there is a more comprehensive technological problem to carry on. Big data. Big data is a word that is very common in this period, and meteorology is big data by definition, because not only because we have a lot of data coming from the different platforms with satellite, radars, and ground station, radio soundings, and so on, but also because we are using a lot of different data with different typology, and I will say some more later. And so all the aspects characterizing big data, that means taking data, data storage, data analysis, some search, sharing, transfer, visualization, curing, and so on, are part of the meteorological operations. Every day we do all this job to run the model for weather forecast, and we need to do the same job to make a climatological evaluation. So this is a picture again from Peter Bauer, in which is represented all the flow we have all with the data. This is a light, yes. You know, here is very small, but this is here is representing the different sources of information we are receiving in real time every day, several times per day, from satellite, aircraft, ship, ground stations, and so on. And we have to treat all these data with different technologies. I just want to mention one thing. In the 60s, we start using the first meteorological satellite, Meteosat. Everybody knows Meteosat because you are used to see that at the television. When at European Center, they started using this kind of data, which are totally different from the data usually you have from the ground stations. The impact on the forecast was negative because of the methodology that were used at that time were not suitable to treat satellite data. So to have an impact, a positive impact from the advent of satellite information, the meteorological community has to develop completely new methodology to be able to, what we say, assimilate this data, to give the right information to the model and then to improve the weather forecast. And then, after having this data, we run the models, we store, we disseminate, we plot, we put on the web. So this is a procedure that we do every day, more time a day. So it's really a big technological issue. Just to give you an idea, at this moment at ACMWF, they are storing 2 petabytes per week. So they have a very, very huge amount of data stored. And we have to increase also our storage capacity. So now we go. What are we doing to face this? So the idea of our regional administration, and Professor Bianchi was personally really involved in this, is to set up this big data technopole in Bologna to support several aspects of research. But climate change is one of the main concerns of this data technopole. So the work are going to start, and this technopole is thought to be as a support to advance research in all the aspects you see listed on the side of these slides. In the circle here, you see what is the big community on big data from universities mainly, but also from agencies and other services of the region, which are involved in the big data problem. And this is more or less what has been thought to be this organization with respect to the people contributing, to institute contributing to this big data regional community, and also they are trying to have some good private partnership and to identify end user that can really benefit from this effort of coordinating action in this direction. One important aspect is that this big data high-performance computing technopole we are setting up in Bologna, we see the cooperation between 2 big data center and computing center, which is the Cineca Computer Center, which is maybe the only supercomputer center we have in Italy. And I've put the top 500 list of last year, and Cineca with their machine is at the 14th position. And Cineca, together with the ENFN Institute, which is also located in Bologna, will set up a new supercomputing infrastructure that will be located at the Bologna Technopole. The characteristics of ENFN are a little bit different from CINECA, because CINECA is really a supercomputing center. That means you have a lot of computer power. But ENFN is one of the 10 or 13 tier 1 of the CERN in Geneva. That means that they are able to process and to store all the data coming from the Large Hadron Collider that they are using in Geneva. So the joining of these two structures really makes one of the most powerful computer centers actually in the world. On top of this, we had the big Italian success that in the sense that we won the competition to host the data center of the European Center for Weather, for medium-range weather forecasting rating. So this data center will be moved in Italy next year. And of course, this will also the ACNWF data center is in one very high position in the top 500 list. That means that the Bologna and Emilia-Romagna is really now a hot point from the big data and high performance computing technology, and is going to become a point of big interest also for the big computer companies in the world. And in this center, of course, apart from the computing aspect, we have also a very good news, in the sense that at the end of last year, with the legge di bilancio, that means the balance law for this year, the new Italian National Agency for Meteorology is being established, and the location of the agency will be also in Bologna. That means that we didn't have a national weather service, civil weather service up to now, and now we have started already to try to set up this new agency. That will be also located in the Bologna Technopole. And of course, from this, we will see a big synergy with all the institute, including also ACNWF data center that will be here. By the way, also our environmental agency and the Agency for Civil Protection of our region will be located in this place. We have also to consider that one of the reasons why we won the competition to host ACNWF is because in the Bologna area we have a big concentration on expertise on weather and climate, due to the National Council of Research, the university, our Institute of the Environmental Agency, the Mediterranean Center for Euro-Mediterranean Center for Climate is also located in Bologna, and so on. So there is a very good environment and cooperation to support the research in this new technopole. And another important issue is that ACNWF in its data center is also storing all the data which is related to Copernicus. Copernicus is a big, a kind of European Union flagship as regards the optimization of all the Earth observation from satellite, of course combined with the normal ground station, to give what they call primary services. And the climate change is one of the 5 Copernicus pillars. And ACNWF is managing, won the competition to be the one managing and developing this support to all the research related to climate change. And I mean, as regards Europe, and in a certain sense also worldwide. So the possibility to have all this Copernicus data center also in Bologna, of course, is a big advantage for us. I suppose I finished my time, and just the concluding remarks that, of course, we have a challenge, I've already said. It's important that we organize our activities taking into account several aspects, technological aspects, scientific aspects. And we are trying in Emilia-Romagna to foster this process with the implementation of this new Bologna Technopole. And we hope that in 1 year we can start already see something about the implementation of, so I hope that in this sense we can have a good, as a region, we can give a very good contribution to the work on climate change. Thank you.